Yeah, like I'm going to get some labels.
They are really different kilometers.
Estaba hablando con mi tía que el hijo se llama Haile Roger. Por eso veo yo te puse
With the audio, you can change the audio anyway. So get a clip that is just nothing, just the sound, and then so I can cut out all the music, chop a little bit of music, and extend that music to the whole clip. All you hear is the sound, like just the engine and the water. Or I can change the something else. Don't look at the floor, that's what it matters. I'm gonna do 15 minutes.
Population here in Launceston is just over 100,000 people and is Australia's third largest city. Sydney, of course, being first in 1788, Hobart was sort of next in 1804, and Launceston 1 year later in 1805. Travelling from Launceston in 1835, a couple of guys named John Dutton and Pasco Faulkner, after meeting with local investors, set sail across the Bass Strait to establish a little village they later called Melbourne. Terra, as well as Federation Edwardian, Art Deco, and more modern contemporary designs of the latter years. However, Launceston's oldest homes can be found in the suburb of East Launceston, with Georgian homes that date back to the 1830s. Officially, Launceston has the best examples of remaining Georgian architecture and the most intact streetscape of that era left in the whole country. We still have 5,500 heritage registered properties remaining here in Tasmania today.
28, sí.
Y mire que las tuyas, aparte de atrás, se dan.
El día de los inocentes.
Sí, dice, hoy es el día de los inocentes.
Oh, Thursday.
Today.
No, I think July 4th is school, no?
28th of December,
That's different dates.
yeah, Sunday.
Here is July 4th, no? Oh, God. I do this every day.
No, but they use a day.
Like a trip.
People do
Okay, I can do that. I got a good one in mind already. I already thought of one.
They put it aside in the brain.
I got a good one. I'm gonna scare all you guys after.
You already scared us.
No, I'm gonna scare you after.
You
Gonna be calling the ambulance and
You
everything.
already scared us, Danny.
No,
That was
no.
good enough.
My breath, maybe.
Oh? Yo tengo arruinada la
Arrugar.
Mira, tiene por ahí. No, mira, mira.
¿De qué dejé?
También porque quiero hacerme la vida.
Pero no partió. Yo derecho.
Ahead of us now, we're entering the South Esk River. Tasmania's longest river at 217 kilometres long, but more importantly, has the combined catchment area that equals 20% of the total landmass of the state. This is the big one. This one has the capacity to flood Launceston. They're so concerned about what may happen in the form of flooding that, as you can see through the pathway,
So what we're talking about here is on our left-hand side, and unfortunately, as you can see, we're at low tide at the moment, so you can't actually see the concrete grandstand sort of structure in there. As you turn over towards the bushes and get closer, you'll be able to see, get a better view of it. But that's what this clip is about, is that concrete grandstand structure that we can't quite view just yet.
they've built what appears to be a concrete grandstand looking structure. This is actually a flood training wall designed to divert the main impact of any major flood away from the city.
Puede llegar a eso. Pues si hubiéramos usado, podríamos por ejemplo,
get a cliff that is just nothing, just the sound, and then so I can cut out all the music, chop a little bit of music, and to extend that music to the whole cliff. All you hear is the sound, like just the engine and the water. Or I can change the something else. Let's look at the form, so it doesn't matter. Like, I'm gonna do it. Like 15 minutes in. Oh, the other one, yeah. The primary, yeah, the other one.
The current population here in Launceston is just over 100,000 people and is Australia's third largest city. Sydney, of course, being first in 1788, Hobart was settled next in 1804, and Launceston 1 year later in 1805. Travelling from Launceston in 1835, a couple of guys named John Dutton and Pascoe Faulkner, after meeting with local investors, set sail across the Bass Strait to establish a little village they later called Melbourne. dating back to the Victorian era, as well as Federation Edwardian, Art Deco, and more modern contemporary designs of the latter years. However, Launceston's oldest homes can be found in the suburb of East Launceston, with Georgian homes that date back to the 1830s. Officially, Launceston has the best examples of remaining Georgian architecture and the most intact streetscape of that era left in the whole country. We still have 5,500 heritage registered properties remaining here in Tasmania today.
algunas en este
Hoy es 28, ¿sí?
y mira que las tuyas, la parte de atrás, se dan
El día de los inocentes.
hoy es el día de los inocentes. Los dogs day.
Oh, Thursday.
Today.
No, I think July 4th is full, no?
28th of December. Oh no, yeah.
Ah, that's different dates.
Yeah, Sunday.
Here is July 4, no? Oh, God. I do jokes every day.
No, but they innocent day.
Like a trip.
People do
Okay, okay, I can do that. I got a good one in mind
like
already.
putting
I
a
already thought of
spider.
one.
Like putting a spider in the brain.
I got a good one. I'm gonna scare all of you guys after. You guys can get
You
weird.
already scared us.
I'm gonna scare you after.
You
I'm gonna be calling the ambulance and
You
everything.
already scared us, Danny.
No,
That was
no.
good enough.
Okay. My breath maybe.
Oh? Yo tengo arrugada la oreja.
¿Arrugar?
Mira, tiene por allá. No, mírame,
¿De qué de vejez?
Daniel, que tiene
Pero no partió. Dio derecho.
Ahead of us now, we're entering the South Esk River. Tasmania is the longest river at 217 kilometres long, but more importantly, has the combined catchment area that equals 20% of the total landmass of the state. This is the big one. This one has the capacity to flood Launceston. They're so concerned about what may happen in the form of flooding that, as you can see through the pathway,
So what we're talking about here is on our left-hand side, and unfortunately, as you can see, we're at low tide at the moment, so you can't actually see the concrete grandstand sort of structure in there. As you turn that over towards the bushes and get closer, you'll be able to see, get a better view of it. But that's what this clip is about, is that concrete grandstand structure that we can't quite view just yet.
and what appears to be a concrete grandstand looking structure. This is actually a flood training wall designed to divert the main impact of any major flood away from the city.
Puede llegar en si hubiera menos agua, veríamos que la estructura se
Mr. William Patterson, founder of Launceston in 1805. Launceston was originally named Pattersonia, just like Melbourne was originally named Batmania after John Batman. William Patterson, however, was not the most popular man, so the name was changed to Launceston shortly after his death. We are now passing under the King's Bridge. Two single-span bridges join together. The original bridge was built in Manchester, England in 1863. Built in 500 pieces, put on a sailing ship and then erected on wooden floating dry docks here in Launceston. This stood as a single-lane bridge for 40 years until a duplication span was built here in Launceston in 1903.
Uno de ellos, que hay dos. Y el otro sí que vuelve a decir. ¿No? Mira, nosotros caminamos por acá ayer.
Ay, sí.
Nosotros llegamos hoy.
Mira hasta que llegamos ayer. We walked yesterday. Oh yes, we got to this one.
A esa casita, mira, ahí te tomé la foto. Ah, no, no.
Oh, we walked yesterday. Quédate ahí, te tomo foto. ¿Cómo pongo las manos? ¿Sí? Sí, salido.
We are now entering the magnificent Cataract Gorge. The word cataract is the Latin term for waterfall, the site that met the early Europeans all those years ago. No waterfall these days, the river was dammed 6 kilometres upstream in 1955 to create a reservoir for Launceston's hydroelectric power station. Tasmania is 90% reliant on hydroelectricity. The remaining 10% is a combination of wind generators and solar power. So clean and green we are with our power production. The land around us was all privately owned once. In 1890, the Barnes family donated the land to the City Council. The council spent the next 8 years and £1,000 to build the infrastructure that we see today. For the next 50 years, the council would charge each member of the visiting public a 1-penny toll to enter the gorge. You may have noticed the small toll booth near the bridge as we entered. This is where the gatekeeper charged the toll up until 1946 when the debt was paid. The gatekeeper lived in the cottage in the hillside above the toll booth. These days, the cottage is leased to aspiring artists, poets and musicians under the Launceston City Council's Artists in Residence program. You can sit up there and gain inspiration from between 2 to 12 weeks. You do, however, need to be a bona fide artist, not a bull artist or a con artist.
Nice catch.
We can edit it.
At least it was inside.
Looking around us at the moment, you have to remember we are actually in the middle of a city. The city centre is a mere 1 kilometre from where we are right now. The gorge is a popular location for rock climbing and abseiling, with 100 registered climbs of varying degrees of difficulty.
If you have a look up on the right hand side in the rock face, there is a series of rusted metal brackets. They used to hold an aqueduct system that supplied Launceston with drinking water. Flood, or 1 in 100 year flood in 1929, took that whole system out, destroyed it all. I have an audio clip that explains that and a range of other things. It's actually quite interesting.
Up on your right hand side in the rock face, you'll notice a series of rusted iron brackets. They once supported a wooden water race or aqueduct that carried the drinking water supply for Launceston. This was destroyed during the 1 in 100 year flood event in 1929. The brackets were installed by our convict forefathers. They were suspended over the edge of the cliff in rope baskets, now to drill into this very solid dolerite formation. But the rocks around us are 165 million years old. The gorge itself has taken 15 million years to naturally erode through the rock formation.
Mira la línea, ha llegado el agua, ¿sí ves?
The thing I
Todo lo
find
que abajo.
interesting about that is how much water would have had to flow through here in that flood to take that whole aqueduct system out. would have had to be at least as high, potentially higher than those brackets. That's an amazing amount of water flowing through here. So I think I might have stayed home that day.
That's the high tide. So probably a little bit lower than the normal low tide. But again, that's not regular high tide.
Y aquí están los cosas que se...
I was looking at prices of the different tides. Apparently,
No sé, los que...
de-
Ah, de los vidrios, es como vidrios. Son como unos...
Like my Tasmanian dream now. Yeah, that's what 3 meters. 3 meters of water coming out. I used to work with Terra. Yeah, so even up here we're right.
Pero siempre son como 20 minutos. Para volver a uno.
Yeah, it's always a lot of sun. That's right.
el gobierno le está dando prioridad en el estado de Tasmania.
¿Y qué hacen los artistas? ¿Sí? Que me ven, haciendo que como que está como desvalorado. ¿Sí entendiste la historia de esa casa? That house? That the government paid artists to come and live for up to 12 weeks to get inspired.
Use as a shot.
Mira, si podemos, si caminamos, mira, desde abajo. Mira, está asustadísimo. Ahí se metió. Está como nadando, está cazando el cielo. ¿Y ahora dónde va a salir? Sí. No lo volví a ver salir. Ay, porque cambia de energía. Entonces, ah, mira, y salió.
No sé,
Now, as we exit the Cataract Gorge, on our right-hand side are some silos. These were built in the 1920s alongside the 1830s Richards Flour Mill, which is the dark grey red brick building. These days, the ground floor of this building will have the national award-winning Stillwater restaurant. as they say, all good things must come to an end. As we return to home point, we would like to thank you on behalf of Kangaroo Cruises for joining us today. We wish you a safe and enjoyable onward journey. Thank you again.